Hello students. Today we are going to start with chapter 17, Forest are Lifeline. Students, at the end of this chapter, you will be able to learn about number 1, forest profile, 2, interdependence of plants and animals, 3, uses of forest, 4, destruction of forests, and 5, conservation of forests. Now, coming to the word forest. What is forest? Now, this word forest has come from a Latin word foris, which means outdoors or away from civilization. As we all know, whenever this word forest comes, this forest, if we are living in a city, this forest is not in the city, it is away from the city. That is away from the civilization. The forest is a large area of land covered with thousands of varieties of plants and animals, and all these plants and animals, they grow in this forest naturally. Understood? A plantation is also a large area of land which is covered with thousands of plants, but all plants are of the same variety. In forest, there are different varieties of plants and animals. Now, what is the importance of forest? Importance of forest means what are the uses of forest? What are the things that we get from the forest? Forest, number 1, they are home to different kinds of trees, herbs, shrubs, and climbers. I think you all have studied these terms, trees, herbs, shrubs, and climbers in your junior classes. Many herbivores depends on them for food. Herbivore means those animals which depend on plants for their food. These are home to a variety of animals too. So many kind of animals, wild animals are found in these forests. We also get many things from the forest. These are timber, wood, medicinal plants, honey, gum, paper, fruits, and many more things. Forests also influence the climate, quality of air, and rainfall. This point we are going to discuss in the later section. Now, what is forest profile? Profile means you all are having profile in your classes. Every year a profile is maintained. That means which are the students studying in the class and what are their habits, their activities participated. In the same way, forest is also having a profile. In these forests, as we have studied, a variety of plants and animals are formed. So this forest profile actually deals with the types of plants which are present in a forest, and these different types of plants, they are of varied heights and sizes in the forest, and they all together form the forest profile. First of all, we'll learn about crown. What is crown? Parts of a tree above the stem, including the branches and the leaves, is called crown. As you can see in the picture which is given, there are different types of crown. So the trunk of the tree, and above that trunk, which part is there, you can see in the number 1 it is, the crown is conical. In the number 2 picture, it is cylindrical. In the same way, there are different shapes of the crown. The ground of forest is covered with leaves and shrubs, and these are dwelling place for many kinds of insects and animals. Many more kinds of animals and birds also live in forest at different heights. We know, as we have studied, that there are different types of animals which are also found in the forest. So at different heights means the trees are very tall also. Some birds, they are on the top of the tree, some live in the branches, and the different types of animals which dwell on the forest floor. For example, birds live on the top branches, whereas the monkey they live on the lower branches. And depending on the height of the trees and the type of animals living there, forests are divided into different layers. Now coming to the different layers of the forest. The topmost layer is known as the emergent layer, and it is at a height of around 40 meters from the ground and receives most of the sunlight. As it is at the top, it gets the most sunlight in this layer. The birds of prey like eagles and hawks live on this layer, as it is easier for them to spot their prey from such a great height. You can see from the figure the emergent layer is the topmost layer and it is above 40 meters from the ground. And prey means their food. Next layer is the canopy layer. This layer is formed when the trees growing close to each other. They appear as a roof over the rest of the two floors below. Actually, there are four layers of the forest. Emergent layer, canopy layer, then understory layer and the forest floor. The canopy layer is below the emergent layer and above the understory and forest layer. This layer measures from 20 to 40 meters above the ground. As this layer has abundance of food, it is a dwelling place for many birds, insects and animals. You can draw this forest profile, okay? Now next layer, that is the third layer from the top, is understory layer. This layer starts from the foot of the forest and goes up to a height of 20 meters. As this layer is under the canopy which blocks the sunlight, so this layer is shady and all the lower branches of canopy trees, shrubs and herbs are part of the understory. Many birds, animals and insects live in this layer. And the fourth layer is the forest floor. This is the ground layer of forest and it is the floor. The soil is moist and it consists of decaying leaves, fruits and animal matter. Decaying means which are being acted upon by the microorganisms, okay? That is the decomposed, or you can say in Hindi it is sadi hui. The decomposers present in the forest floor, they decomposes the dead plant and animals and turn it into humus, and humus makes the soil fertile. This layer, this forest floor is home to rabbit, snakes, frogs, termites, fungi, earthworms and insects. Now the interdependence of plants and animals. Interdependent means एक दूसरे पर depend होना. As we know, plants and animals depend on each other. How? We know we animals, we are also animals. We depend on plants for various things. We get food from them. Herbivores get food from them and carnivores get food from herbivores. Indirectly, carnivores are also depending on the plants for their food. But one will think, for what plants are dependent on animals? Obviously, they are also dependent on animals. How? Plants get carbon dioxide from the animals. In the process of respiration, animals take oxygen, they give out carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide is utilized by the plants during the process of photosynthesis. Plants are producers, that means producers means they make their food during the process of photosynthesis, okay, and this food which is prepared by the plants is used by the animals. Animals produces carbon dioxide during respiration, which is used by plants during photosynthesis, and in this way they both depend on each other. Now food chain. What is food chain? Food chain means who eats whom. It's a chain, and as the name is suggesting food, so who eats whom means कौन किसे खाएगा. The food chain is formed when one organism eats another organisms for food. For example, an insect such as grasshopper eats grass and it is in turn eaten by a frog for its food, which is eaten by snail. And this dependence of one organism on another forms a food chain. You can see from this example, grass is eaten up by grasshopper, grasshopper is eaten by frog, and frog is eaten by snail. In this food chain, grass is the producer as it prepares its own food by the process of photosynthesis. Grasshopper, as it is directly dependent on grass for its food, therefore it is known as primary consumer, whereas frog feeds on the grasshopper, therefore it is called as a secondary consumer as it is indirectly dependent on producer for its food. Now comes the terms herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. I think you all must have studied these three terms in your earlier classes. Herbivores are the animals which depend on plant and its product for their food, for example, cow, buffalo, goat, etc. Now carnivores are the animals which eat other animals for their food, for example, lion, tiger, etc. And animals which eat both plants as well as animals are called as omnivores. And in this category, we people comes, that means human beings, dogs, bear, etc. Now, what are scavengers and decomposers? Both have a very significant role in controlling the waste as they decompose the dead bodies. So what are scavengers? They are a group of animals which eat the dead bodies of another animals. Example, crows, vulture, etc. Whereas decomposers are microorganisms. Scavengers were animals, whereas decomposers are microorganisms which feed on dead and decaying matter, example fungi and bacteria, and they both are also known as the cleaners of the environment because they both clean the environment by either by eating the dead bodies or by decomposing the dead bodies. Now coming to the cycle of nutrients. We know every food chain starts from the plants and the energy from the plants, it enters the consumers in the form of food. When these consumers, they die, the decomposers, they act on it and the nutrients which were present in the consumers, they are released into the soil. When the decomposers, they decomposes their dead bodies, these nutrients are again released into the soil. These nutrients which are released into the soil by decomposers, they are again used up by the plants and this forms a cycle of nutrients. You can see producers, they are eaten up by the consumers, they are decomposed by the decomposers and the nutrients come back to the soil and these nutrients from the soil, they again enters to the producers. These producers, that is the green plants, when they die, they are also decomposed by the decomposers. So producers to consumer to decomposer, or producers are directly decomposed by the decomposers and this makes the cycle of nutrients. Now food web. What is a food web? Web means जाल. जैसे spider web बनाता है, अपना जाल बनाता है. So food web is the web of food. That means in this food web, we know there is not only a single food chain. There are so many food chains and they are interlinked also with each other. And when there are many food chains which are interlinked with each other, they forms a food web. For example, rat eats grain. Now this rat can be eaten by snakes as well as eagles, and the snakes which eat rats can also be eaten by eagles. So in this way, there is a natural interconnection of various food chains. One example is given, you can see from the figure. Now coming to the uses of forest. Forests are breath of fresh air. That is, they help in purification of air. How? You all know, during the process of photosynthesis, they use carbon dioxide and they release oxygen. That is, they are making their surrounding air rich in oxygen. In this way, they purify the air. Forest also keeps the surroundings cool. How? Forest means the trees present in the forest, they transpire, means they undergo the process of transpiration. They leaves, the water leaves their bodies through the leaves in the form of water vapors, thereby making the surroundings cool. Forest helps in the prevention of soil erosion also. How? The trees present in the forest, they have roots, they have deep roots which bind the soil firmly, thereby preventing the soil erosion. Forests are home to many species of plants and animals. We all know. They also help in bringing rain. How they help in bringing rain? The water which is evaporated in the process of transpiration, when it goes up, it condenses to form clouds and thereby bringing rain. Forests help in increasing soil fertility. How? The leaves and the bodies of the plants and the insects, they all come to the forest floor. There they are decomposed by the microorganism, thereby resulting in the formation of humus, which results in increasing the soil fertility. Forests give us wood for timber as well as fuel. Timber means for making furniture, doors and windows, and fuel means for making food. Forest also gives us medicines, rubber, spices, perfumes, oils, resins and many more things. We get many things from the forest. That is why forests are very much important. That is why this chapter is named as Forests Are Lifeline. Okay. Forest also serve as means of recreation. Means of recreation means where the people go to forest for their enjoyment, for their leisure time, for spending time in the lap of nature. Nowadays, ecotourism and jungle safaris are very popular. You must have heard somebody is saying we went to Jim Corbett National Park. That is also a forest area for having jungle safaris and for spending some times in the lap of nature. Forests also serve as a source of fodder for cattle and other grazing animals. Now, destruction of forests. We people, we are destructing these forests. We cut down these forests for many purposes. We are cutting them, and this cutting down of trees on a large scale is known as deforestation. Now, what are the reasons for cutting these trees? Number one, for construction of dams, highways. We have seen many highways are formed. So these highways are actually, they are formed on the places where earlier there were forests, and clearing of forest land for converting into agricultural land. As we know, our population is increasing day by day. As the population is increasing, so to feed them, we need more and more food. And from where we will get the food? From agriculture. So these forest land are cleared and then they are converted into agricultural land. Forests are also cut for timber and medicinal plants, resulting in illegal logging and smuggling of forest products. For timber means to make furniture, doors, windows. As we know, the population is increasing, so we need more space for their shelters also. More and more buildings are constructed. For that purpose also, we are cutting the forest. Construction of resorts in and around forests. We all know, as we have studied important in the uses of forest, there was one point, we are going to the forest for our recreation. For when we are going to the forest for recreation, we need some place to stay. The resorts are formed in and around forests, and that's why these trees are cut. Also, there is lack of awareness among people about importance of forests. Means they are not knowing what will be the consequences of their getting these indulged in deforestation activities. If they will get education about these, they may not cut the forest. Overgrazing in forest by cattle from nearby villages. We know their forest is whenever there is a forest. So something to civilization means villages must be nearby the forest. So villagers must be having some animals with them, cattle, and they take their animals for grazing in the forest. So if this overgrazing is done, forest gets destructed. Now forest fires during dry summer months. During dry summer months means when the weather is dry, okay, air is dry and the temperature is high. These forests catches fires. The trees in the forest catches fire. How? When these branches of the trees they get rubbed against each other with a spark, they catch fire. And next is poaching or hunting of animals for their meat, skin, bones, etc. Poaching means illegal hunting of the animals. Now, what are the consequences or the effects of deforestation? Number one, if there will be no trees, soil erosion will take place, which will result in soil destruction. Things that which we get from the forest, if there will be no forest, so the things which we get from the forest, they will no longer will be available to us. As we have studied in the early section that forest brings rain, they help in keeping the surrounding cool. So deforestation means if we'll cut down the trees, it will lead to change in climate, as without trees there will be an increase in carbon dioxide level. Of course, this carbon dioxide which we give out during respiration is taken up by the trees during photosynthesis. If the trees will not be there and we keep on respiring, the carbon dioxide level in the surrounding air or atmosphere will increase, which leads to global warming. Forests serve as home to many animals. That means if forests will be cut, these animals will lose their home and they might even die. This may lead to extinction of different species. Now, we have studied the uses of forest. We have studied what is deforestation, destruction of forests. We have studied the consequences of the destruction of forests. Now, what steps we should take for conserving our forests? This means conservation of forests. Conservation means to save our forests. Number one, we must do afforestation. As cutting down of trees is deforestation, planting of more and more trees is known as afforestation. And these trees should be planted in wastelands where the forest cover is disappearing. People and students must be encouraged to plant more and more trees through programs like Van Mahotsav. Okay. Then people and students should be made aware and educated about the importance of forests. Now, you see in the second and the third point, along with the people, students are also taken. Why students? Because you are the future of our country. If you will be at this level, if you will be taught about the consequences and what are the steps that can be taken for the conservation, that will be for a long time. Overgrazing by cattle should be prevented by providing sufficient pastures in the areas near the forest. Means, obviously, if the villages are there, they are having cattle, so they have to take their cattle to some nearby place for grazing. Otherwise, from where they will get food? But overgrazing should be prevented. Overgrazing means grazing in the same piece of land again and again. Next is illegal logging of the trees must be prevented. Why prevented? Why this illegal logging of trees? Illegal means smuggling. It should be prevented. Conversion of forest land for the purpose of industrialization must be stopped. Means we know that as our population is increasing, we are in need of each and everything of our daily use also in large quantities. And these things are made in the industries. But conversion of forest land for the purpose of industrialization should not be encouraged. Every city should have a green patch reserved for development of park. Farmers must be educated to plant cultivation in their lands without cutting down trees. This means for the conservation of forest, farmers must be given some knowledge so that how to plan their cultivation, whatever they are sowing in their fields, they can sow without the cutting down of trees. So students, I hope you all have understood this chapter very well. Next time whenever we will be meeting, we will be going to discuss about the next chapter. Thank you.